It's gonna either end good or bad, or somewhere in between, I guess. There's a lot of stone on this door right here. You ready, dude? Ready to lift?
Lift it, feel it, so. What?
Don't slip. You guys decided which step you want to put first?
No.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 25th, 2023, Trav. It's coming together. We're hoping to be at the point where we can excavate, backfill, and start laying some steps today. We got some soil put behind the wall. There's about 15 to 18 inches of soil separated with the geotextile fabric. And we have the base somewhat close to ready to build our second wall. So we're looking pretty good. I'm gonna keep going with the wall, and Ben's gonna start capping. Trav's helping with both. Ben, you ready to cap?
Ready.
Do you like this cap?
Fine.
Techo Bloc, architectural cap, Onyx Black. Looks like a really good batch.
No chippies.
Right when you said it, dude, that came around, and there's a chippy.
No.
It's alright, it always happens. Like this right here. That kind of stuff happens on the regular. That's why you need to factor more than you actually need, because you're always going to have some throwaway stuff. Alright boys, let's get into the day. So we built this retaining wall in the previous video. If you didn't see that and you want to, check out the link in the description. But we're on to capping it, and the first thing you have to do with that is dry lay it. And you're seeing what Trav and Ben are doing. They're just laying it all out to where it kind of needs to be. And then we're going to go through and mark the radiuses that need to be cut those, and get them into place. So as they do that, I'm continuing the retaining wall by doing the step-ups. As the grade continues to rise, we rise with the blocks one layer at a time. I want to be able to get this lower retaining wall completely built before we continue excavating and backfilling to install the concrete steps. What do you think about the Onyx cap? Really makes the wall, right?
Yeah, goes with it pretty nice.
Really makes the wall, makes it pop. Alright, well, if you guys can see, Ben's got some fabric laid out. I got some loom in the trailer, and I got a mini excavator. And you guys got shovels and feet. I'm gonna drop it in there, spread it out. You gotta really pack it down with your feet, a couple layers. And then we're gonna map out for the steps and excavate. Get Ben out of here. Get some stuff. Got the topsoil dumped. Saying thunderstorms this afternoon around 3. Almost gouged my eye out with your broom handle. So another 3 yards, 3/4 blue. Bends off. Get some more stone. Me and Trav are here to dig. A couple more years, you'll be in that skid steer. So I can put dirt in the bucket for you. So I gotta figure out the rough depth of our staircase, how many steps we're gonna need. You always come into it with an estimate. That could be spot on, you could vary 1 or 2 steps, so you always got to put that in with your estimate. The variation, like in this case, I'd put 10 to 12 steps, just depending on what you needed for the grade. And I think we're gonna actually be right in the middle at 11, but we'll go through that in a minute here. Okay, so this wall is 8 blocks high at the lowest point, and that 8th block is buried completely under the surface. So we have 7 rows revealed. These blocks are 6 inches high, so that's 3.5 feet plus a 3-inch cap. You have 3 foot 9 inches for this lower wall here. When we come over here, this is the block that was over there, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more blocks on top of that. So 7 and 4 is 11. Those steps are about 6 inches each. May vary 6 to 6.5 inches. So if you go off of the block height and match that, you're gonna have 11 steps. It's that easy. Imagine that.
No, can't imagine.
Like Victory Outdoor Services would say, easy money. So we want to pretty much set this first step just a bit below this course. If we do that, that's going to give us the leeway for sloping the steps a little bit. And also, these steps are textured and a little rough, so although they say 6 inches high, they're going to vary up to a 1/2 inch when you're laying them. So you want to give yourself some room for, as you build the steps, they get a little bit higher. So we have about 1 inch probably below that wall block is where we're going to set our first step. And then as we go up, we're going to be able to just match the blocks. And if it goes a bit higher, we still have the 3 inches of the cap to go on top of that. For our depth, we got to find out kind of the thickest one, or widest one I should say. Hey Trav, I'm going to try to fish this under the pallet. I want to measure this right here.
What is like the bottom of it?
Just right on the edge of it, as close as you can get to where it is.
That's about it right there.
Right there. That's 4 foot 11 to the furthest point. All right. 4 foot 11. So we got to prep probably like 5 foot 4, 5 foot 6 feet away from the wall to give us room for all these steps. And then the other thing we got to figure out is the depth, right? You got to get the average depth, and you got to multiply that by your 11 steps to find out roughly how long your staircase is going to be. So this one's like 24 inches. And you want to measure the middle, because when you're going curved, the middle is kind of the pivot point on the steps. That one's 16. That one's 2 feet as well. So if we kind of based it off of an 18-inch step, this would be the only one that's a little bit smaller, but it'd be close to 18. So if we base it off 18, you have 11 times 18 inches. And then you got to break that down into feet. A lot of math. I gotta get my calculator. So if we're basing our steps, we have 11 steps times 198 inches. So we're gonna take 198 and divide that by 12. That gives us 16.5 feet.
Wow.
With 11 steps. That's why I like these steps so much, is because it gives you a really long staircase. You don't feel like you're rushed down a bunch of small steps. So 16.5 feet, and what we're gonna do is give ourselves probably 2 feet of variance. So 1 foot on each side to make sure we got enough. So we're gonna go at 18.5 feet by 5.5 feet wide. That's the excavation we need. A lot of people wonder about that, so I hope that was helpful. And I hope my math was right, because if not, I'm gonna look like a clown. What do you
Being like 20 feet off.
Yeah. The staircase ends up being 8.5 feet. We prepped out for 20. Oh man. Oh, here's the rain they were talking about. Shoot. Rain, rain, go away. We are well below where we need to be, boys. I think I want to use the compactor, bud. Make sure it's nice and tight.
Okay.
Do not walk up that mud, Trav. You'll be out for the rest of the summer before you're even halfway through. I literally almost went down on camera over there. Huge freak. You see that skid mark right there?
Yeah.
That one. I went from right here to right there, Trav. Skiing on my left foot. Bro, it's at least 2 feet of skiing right there. So we ended up measuring out about, what, 20 feet or so, Trav, I think? And we're doing 10 steps. But there's also gonna be like a 4-foot landing in between the bottom set of steps and then the top set. So we're gonna start roughly around here, do 6 steps, landing, and then 4 steps, kind of go with the wall. We're gonna have 6 blocks to match with the steps, and then 4 blocks up there to match with the steps. Almost did a fishtail right there. Put my foot up on the side, dude, and went sliding. Hey, prep for the steps.
Step prep.
You ready, dude? Ready to lift?
Lift it, feel it, so. What?
Don't slip.
Feel it underneath my feet. I had to hop up there too.
You taking it?
I'll take it.
You guys,
It's taking me.
careful.
Walk on the grass.
Oh, look what we did to the grass. Wasn't us. Yeah, let's put it on the black. Hey.
There it is.
We are ready to set our first step. Saw how we compacted a thin layer of stone fabric. We spread it all out, probably about 4 inches thick throughout the whole slope. Compacted again, and then we graded where our first step's gonna go and compacted that area. These steps, we want a nice 1/8 of a slope to the left and an 1/8 of a slope forward. And we are right at the height we want to be, copying this step right here, so the top of that step should be somewhere close to right here. You guys decided which step you want to put first?
No.
I was thinking this big boy underneath this one. It's got a nice wide left side so we can start our curve pretty good. Maybe this one that's underneath here. This one. Looks like a good one to start with. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna go grab that foam pad and we'll just cut it up. I'll cut some things to protect from the thumb there. If we do set 2 in for a landing, I think it's gonna be this one and the other one that same size. Because those ones are not fun trying to fit in on a project like this, dude. Nice job. Be funny if that worked too. Like sheetrock. Not this one. Stronger in the center. Yep. All right, I'm thinking I'm gonna go for this one underneath here. So we gotta move a few of these out of the way. do you think? Probably go in some more. Yeah, I could probably go in some more.
I think it's big stone.
That looks really good, dude. Can never really tell how this slope is exactly because of how textured it is, but that's what we want.
Good.
So is that. We finally used that big hammer that the only thing it's been doing is holding down fabric.
Hey, yeah.
It's the only thing it's been doing.
How far back you put this?
Yeah, like right there is fine. Like a full step's worth. 9-pounder. I wish they made it with a smaller handle. I'd use it for pavers. It's gonna either end good or bad, or somewhere in between, I guess. There's a lot of stone on this door right here. I think that was somewhere in between. That wasn't too bad, really. So I do get a good amount of comments when I make videos building like staircases or walls. You know, how I go about getting my measurements and figuring out the elevation and just the math in general. And I left all those clips earlier in this video to show you just how often and how much a plan can change or just differ a little bit when you're on the job site. And that's hard to explain to people how that happens. But what happens is you go into a job with an initial plan, an initial idea, and you have to give yourself some room for variance, because as you dig into a project, as you build it, better ideas or different ideas are going to come to you, and you're going to want to implement them. So you just gotta start a project with a good idea in mind and good planning, but with also with the understanding that things are just going to change. And you know, it's kind of like a football team almost. The best football team is the one that can call an audible quickly and change the plan quickly and then execute. And I think that's the same thing in construction. My original plan was to put like 4 or 6 steps consecutively before I did a landing to try to match the wall a little bit. But with how slow the grade changed, I had to make those landings earlier than I imagined. But I don't think it ruined anything. I think it added to it. And it also makes it easier to climb the staircase. And another thing that changed, which you're going to see a little bit later in the video, is that the customer actually wanted to add on paver walkways that connected the steps from the bottom of the staircase to the end of the wall and the top of the staircase to the driveway. So things changed a little bit, all for the better, I believe. And it's just the way things go, especially in hardscaping when you're doing walls and staircases and stuff. The layout can vary. You got to give yourself room for that. And you can't go into a project worried about things like that. You just have to understand that they come and you deal with them as they come. I've found that the best leaders that I've seen are ones that kind of get their emotions out of the way when it comes to the daily tasks or the things that are in front of them. They look at the day and realize that there's going to be issues, and the only thing I can do is what I can do, and no more. You just deal with them as they come. But man, I really like these steps from Nicolock. When you figure out the price, if you know kind of like the natural stone step prices, like a 4-foot solid granite step, which is like a foot deep, that's going to cost you almost twice as much as one of these concrete steps. And the thing that I like the most about it is that you get double the depth with these steps for a fraction of the cost, and they really look like natural stone. I don't think you're losing very much aesthetically. And especially for like a landscaping set of steps, you want that depth when you're changing that elevation like 6 feet, 5 to 6 feet like we are in this situation. You don't want to be going down 10 consecutive steps with only a foot of depth. It kind of makes you feel rushed and somewhat nervous going down it, especially if you're an older person. it can just feel rushed and not safe. These steps give you a lot of room to make your steps and not feel like you're gonna trip or overstep them. But as always, I'm interested in what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below. What's up, guys?
No.
It's been a while.
As.
I think the last video I took on this job was when we set the last step.
Yep.
It's done.
Whole thing.
I got 4 minutes on this SD card. I'm gonna go show them.
Alright.
You guys happy with it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Glad to hear it.
Are you happy with it?
Pumped. Machine's there. All the tools are here. We've got one thing left to do on this job, and it's 7 o'clock p.m. right now. But we wanted to stay the day to get this done. It's a bit of a travel to this job, so we didn't want to have to come back in the morning for a few things. But we got to do some polymeric sand on this top walkway, and that's it. Leaving this all exposed for the irrigation guy. I sent a pipe underneath the walkway so he can connect to it if he wants to. The wall is all backfilled, and the customer's gonna wait till the fall or early fall to seed because he's still got to get his irrigation guy here. So I just left it at a somewhat decent grade to where you can add a little bit of topsoil and seed. This area is all set for his shed. He may end up taking a couple little trees down there. At least that's probably what I would do. But again, we just added a little bit of soil, stone. This is all lifted up from those boulders that formed the bed before, or the wall. So that's in a good position as well. What's going on, everybody? It is Saturday, January 27th, 2024. I'm back on this project because the customer wants some estimates for more work this year. So I figured I would videotape the end result with what the customers did as well. So customers did all the plantings, the cobblestone, this clover right here. It's not growing in so well. It wasn't the best time of year when they did all the repair on this side. But other than that, customers added a lot of character with the cobblestones and the plantings. Very, very cool outcome. Everything's soaked. All the snow has melted in the past few days, so everything's wet. And all the perennials they put in are going dormant right now, so it looks a lot better when the spring comes around and everything's green and colorful. But very, very cool outcome. So unfortunately I did not get any video of building this top wall when we're here on this project. The time crunch just kind of hit, so I put the cameras down and we kept building. So an important rule when building a two-tier wall is a 2-to-1 rule, meaning your wall above the first wall or whatever above any wall, the distance from the front of the wall to the beginning of the second wall needs to be at least twice the distance of the height. So if a wall is going to be 4 feet, you need an 8-foot distance from the beginning of the wall underneath it to the start of the wall that you're building. That's the main thing. The distance from right here to right there has to be twice the amount of the height of the wall. So we have 5 feet from there to here, and this wall is just over 2.5 feet, or just under 2.5 feet, I'm sorry. So we got 4 block, which is 2 feet, a 3-inch cap, and then a little less than a half a block exposed. So it's like 2 feet 5 inches or something like that, which covers us under that 2-to-1 ratio rule. So that's definitely a very important thing to keep in mind. This is about a 4-foot wall. If I were to put another 4-foot wall right there, I wouldn't be building it properly. It would have to be pushed back more, another 3 feet. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't get to videotape building that second wall. Looking back on it, I'm not sure why I didn't even just put a time lapse on, but anyway, job's done. This was a fun project. Let me know in the comments below what you think. 30 seconds, Trav. Job's done. Say goodbye to these guys. Benny, say goodbye to your fans, bud.
Goodbye.
But you guys know the deal. Till the next one, God bless. Peace.